Render. When you are ready to render your 3D.js objects, make sure to switch your materials to HQ mode as stated in the HQ mode section of this tutorial. As we stated before, when using HQ mode, and if your objects are not using shadows, you can often drop your samples down to 1, which should make rendering much faster. You can then use Blender's native render or F12 functions to render your image or animation. We also offer inside the add-on an offline rendering function. If we go to 3D.js or Point Cloud, we can find the render menu here, and we are giving a series of warnings. First, that standard gives most accurate scan colors. Within geometry nodes and the material shaders, the colors of your scan are set up to work with the standard view transform to appear as they would in most 3D.js applications. But for your own style, you can set the view transform and look to whatever you like. Under this, we have a notice that HQ mode should always be used for final renders. Using LQ materials can sometimes give flickering artifacts in final renders. And again, mentioning that it's possible often to use one sample for final renders when using HQ mode. You can specify the output format, although for the offline render, only image formats are supported. Then we have a button to render an image and to render an animation. When I press render image, I'll be given a warning that all objects in the scene will be set to use the active camera. This is to make sure that all objects are updated during rendering. We're also warned to cancel rendering, force close Blender. Because this is offline rendering, there's no interface to pause or cancel the render. You would have to manually force close Blender like this. If I hit render image and accept, feels like nothing is happening, but my viewport has become responsive again. Let's check my output settings. Currently, my output is set to my temp directory. I can Alt-click the folder icon, and I can see that my render is here. Let's delete this. Let's try this time with render animation. I'll set my timeline just to be 5 frames to preview, and let's make sure we can see this folder over here. If I press render animation and press OK, I'll see that quickly the folder starts populating with the rendered frames. If you want the predictability of using Blender's native render, that's totally fine. Just make sure that all your objects have use active camera enabled. If you want to do this automatically and you want a little bit of a speed boost from rendering offline, you can use the render inside the add-on.